Hey gang, AV here. Welcome to my review of the GI Joe Retaliation Joe Colton action figure. Here he is in the packaging. As you can see, he is a blister carded figure with the vast majority of his accessories visible there in the bubble. However, his most gimmicky stuff is hidden behind the thing. So you can't really see that. Here he is in the back of the card. You can see some product shots of the character posed with his various weapons, as well as the rocket launcher, showing you how that works. Up there in the top left-hand corner, it says Joe Colton is the original G.I. Joe hero. He returns to action in the nick of time as the G.I. Joe team fights off evil Cobra forces. Incredibly brave and strong, Joe Colton blasts the enemy with his own mighty arsenal, including a rapid-fire 4-barreled missile launcher. We're going to have a closer look at that in just 1 second. That's about all I have to say about the packaging. The figure is right here. Here is his Monstrosity, and he also comes with a pistol and an instruction booklet. So we're going to have a look at that first. Basically, it just shows you how to assemble the rocket launcher. The rocket launcher itself actually fits on top of that orange gun, which, if you looked at the packaging, the gun itself was better colored than orange. Also, the face likeness looks a lot more like Bruce Willis there than on the figure itself. I'm pretty sure the sculpt is the same. However, whatever painted detail they used here didn't translate as well at the factory. I think the actual sculpt is still there. It just needed some paint to pull it out. He comes with this pistol. Unfortunately, there's nowhere to store it on the figure, even though he has a shoulder harness. It's got a molded gun in there, so you can't even fit this in there, which is a lost opportunity in my opinion. Here is his Monstrosity, or otherwise known as the 4-barrel missile launcher. Has this ripcord here. Let's see how well it fires. Get that out of the way. So we're just going to aim it off into the distance, and we're going to pull the ripcord. So it fires pretty decent. It fires 4 missiles, and I'm probably never going to see one of them again, but that's all right. The ripcord comes completely out. It just looks like a typical ripcord. Has the finger pull right there. The rocket launcher itself, as I said, pegs onto that rocket launcher that the figure holds. Has the 4 barrels here. Does have this notch back here. I'm not sure what that's for or where that's supposed to peg onto. The figure didn't come with anything that can utilize that, so it must be meant to go onto a different type of play set or something. I'm just not sure what. Here is the orange gun, which actually doesn't look half bad. This wouldn't make a bad weapon for him to hold by itself, except for that hollowed out bit there. That's kind of unsightly. Not to mention the puke orange color it is. But sculpt-wise, doesn't look bad. And finally, we'll get to the 2 weapons he's holding. His revolver, which is very nice, and shotgun. Which is very cool too. Or is that just a rifle? Yeah. I've said it before, I'll say it a million times. I'm not a huge gun guy. If I make a mistake, let me know in the comment section. Feel free to correct me so that you educate me and everybody else watching. So like I said, he does come with this shoulder harness, but it's got a molded on pistol that's not removable. Again, that's a missed opportunity in my opinion. It also kind of stinks that the harness he's wearing completely covers up his back peg hole, so you can't even give the guy a backpack. Mine has some splotchy paint, as you can see right there on his back elbow. Quality control wasn't 100% there with these figures at this particular stage. It wasn't until the next wave came out, the 3.5, that they really started knocking them out of the park. But this was definitely a step in the right direction, because the first two waves had limited articulation and paint, whereas these were a noted improvement. But anyway, I don't think the likeness is too far off from Bruce Willis, quite frankly. Like I said before, I think the sculpt is there. I just think it needs maybe a little bit of dry brush to help bring those details out. But I think the sculpt is there. I'm not a huge fan of the fact that they stopped painting these straps, so that when you use his ab crunch there, they break. I'm not a huge fan of that. I wish they had continued to paint up like they did on his back, so that when you move that diaphragm joint, they continue, but they didn't. All in all, though, I think he's a cool looking figure, and I'm glad to add him to the collection. I do like his character from the film quite a lot. I mean, I'm a huge Bruce Willis fan to begin with. But anyway, so his head's on a ball joint. We'll do a full 360. Doesn't really look up or down very much at all, just a little bit of wiggle there. Doesn't really go side to side either. Arms, we'll do a full 360, up about that high. They don't flatten out because of his shoulder harness, but that's all right. Arms will hyperextend down quite a ways, as well as flatten out. They can bend full 90 degrees. They rotate full 360 degrees. At the wrists, full 360 degrees. This particular wrist can hinge out and in, which is very nice. This particular hinge down and up. This is to help him hold his weapons more accurately and more realistically, and I'm a big fan of that they included those. Diaphragm joint, which I touched on a little bit earlier. Good range of motion there. Legs, kick his legs up about that high, back about that far. He can do the splits about like this. He's got a double jointed knee, which when you get them both working, kick his heel back about that far. Ankles, full 360 degrees. He can point his toes down, and he can point his toes up. Good articulation on this guy. I mean, his paint leaves a little bit room for improvement, especially for the fact that they could have accented his facial features a little bit better to make him look the part a bit more. And again, the fact that his straps, they stopped painting the straps at the edge of his diaphragm joint bothers the crap out of me. Here he is, size comparison. There he is next to a vintage GI Joe figure, namely Snake Eyes. Noticeably taller than him. Same can be said for vintage collection Luke Skywalker, who's always coming up a little short. Here he is next to the Boss Fight Studio blank. Scales pretty well with him. Marvel Universe Captain America. Two of my heroes right there. And then you have World of Halo Master Chief, who is, I said it before, I'll say it a million times, 1/18 scale, despite the fact that he's 5 inches tall. So there you have it. That was my review of Joe Colton from the GI Joe Retaliation line. I think it's a decent figure. I do think he's worth a pickup. Definitely just to include the character in your collection. There is room for improvement, and he's far from perfect, but I do like him. So if you like this video, check out my channel. If you like what you see there, then please subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.